Hey guys, Brian and Stefan here from Gear 182. Thanks for joining us. We've got a really special episode today. We're going to be talking about the Subcaster, which is a baritone Stratocaster that Tom had in orange. And I'm actually going to be taking a back seat on this one because I have a lot to learn because we're talking with the owner of this guitar, which is Stefan. And tell us about it, Stefan. What guitar are we learning about today?
So yeah, it's the orange Subcaster. There was a few comments and messages asking to know more about this one because it is kind of a unique guitar that Tom had in his arsenal. For those who don't know what a baritone is, it's a guitar that has a little bit longer of a neck, which you can down tune lower. So for songs like Obvious, songs like Adam's Song that were recorded used a little bit of a lower tuning. So he used a couple subsonics, the one Subcaster he had, the jazz sub bass or sub guitar that he used in 03 and 04. But for this one, it was kind of special because, after the Loser Kids tour that ended in November '99, Tom retired if for those who know the red Strat with the Tele neck. What was the name of the neck?
It was a Baja Telecaster neck.
That was
It was like a 30-inch scale length. It was longer than a 27.
Yeah, it was a big neck. So he retired that, and then.
And I heard that guitar was just a parts caster.
Yeah. And the cool thing is with that one is Alex has no idea who made it for him.
Probably Doug.
Or this is before Doug. So my guess would be it was probably something that Jerry Finn had or something along those lines. Because for those who don't know, Jerry Finn was a big, help for Tom's early stuff and tones and whatnot. So, talking with Alex, he said the orange was a custom orange color that they had in the shop that day. They had a can of a unique orange that they had, and apparently 2 guitars were painted with that can. I don't know where the other one obviously is. Nor was it anything to do with Tom, but it was made specifically for the next tour which was the Mark, Tom, and Travis show. So the first time that I know of, and I could be wrong, but just looking at all of the timelines and whatnot, the first time that it was used, at least publicly, was at the Daytona Beach show on February 23rd, 2000. So there was this is right after
the televised one that's on YouTube, right?
Yeah. So this was right after the Loser Kids tour, and again, it was specs wise, that's pretty much the same thing as what you expect from a Tom DeLonge Fender guitar made by Alex. A couple noticeable differences was it has the Subcaster at the top. That was actually screen printed letter by letter because they didn't have a name for it. This is before the Subsonics came out, so Alex just named it Subcaster.
So this predates a Subsonic Stratocaster.
This predates the Subsonics, yeah. The Subsonics, I believe, came out later on in 2000. I think there's a few. I know the guitarist from Aerosmith, that Subsonic that he was selling on Reverb was a 2000. So.
Okay, so you're saying like the name Subcaster isn't something that Fender did or is going to do or did do. It's just something that the builders kind of made up on the spot for this one?
Yeah, and it's still in the same format as his other 69 shaped necks and the logos. Another a couple differences is the Seymour Duncan Invader pickup doesn't have, I think it's an older one because it doesn't have the logo on the front, so it's just a plain black. And the other thing was the truss rod. There's a little bit of a hole in the pick guard where the truss rod where the truss rod goes to the bottom of the neck.
So it's got the adjustment at the heel instead of the head.
You got it, yeah.
Okay.
So
just like a 69 custom shop Strat would be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the last show that this was played, and I'll bring it up here, was at in August 27th, 2003 at the USS Nimitz in Kuwait. So
wow.
Yeah.
So that's when they were on the submarine and the booklet for Untitled, or the Untitled CD in the booklet, right?
Yeah, it's pretty cool too because I was looking and I thought, is this for sure the last time? And because right after they came back from this, they finished up the self-titled or Untitled. album. They shot the video for Feelin' This, and then announced the Dollar Bill tour. And during the rehearsals for the Dollar Bill tour, they recorded the AOL sessions. And as we all know, that's where we saw for the first time the Jazzmaster subsonic, or some call it the Jazz Sonic. So that's where I think this is the last time this guitar, anyways, was ever played live. Now it was brought on the Dollar Bill tour. It was brought in the 2004 tours, but just as a backup in case the Jazz ever did break. And from my knowledge,
so this was the backup to the Jazz, and I assume that the yellow was not brought on after the Jazz was
correct. Yeah,
made.
Yeah,
okay.
The Jazz,
Cool.
the yellow was, I think, the last time the yellow was used was for Pop Disaster. I think on tour, anyways, was the last time. That's a different video.
Last time you ever see it in the rack or anything, I guess.
You do see it when they're making the self-titled or untitled album. It's there. No shots.
But there's like 50 guitars in the background. Yeah,
that's just it. Yeah. From what I was told, this guitar obviously wasn't used for the recording of Adam's song, but it was used for the recording of Obvious.
Okay, let's talk about that. There's a lot of debate about the tuning. And I know that the album version of Adam's song is one step lower. Isn't that correct? Yeah. And then the live version is a step and a half lower.
Yeah.
So like D standard for the album, and then what's a step and a half lower? C sharp
standard. Yeah.
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 So there's a lot of debate about, well, you could use a standard length guitar to go one step down. That's true. You could even pull off a step and a half if you had thick enough strings. So, I mean, this is just a decision that Tom and I guess Jerry wanted, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it worked. It was really cool to have this specific guitar for one song that did utilize the down tuning made it more unique. But yeah, I mean, since then, it stayed with Tom up until the reissued sale. So in here, you know, on the the left picture you see before it was customized, I guess you can say.
Which one is it? Is it
the far right?
The far right.
It's the far right. The far
the
left.
One on the left is the Telly one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So that one's more like a Dakota red, and then the orange is the orange color, and it's kind of. Would you say that orange has a little red in it?
I'll show in just as like what the inside of it looks like. It's the orange is still there.
It's not like the orange that your case behind you is. It's got like a little darker, right?
It is, yeah. It is a bit of a unique orange. And then on the right, you can see he's doing what he's doing with the Gibson, and then the white one that's on the stand is the Subcaster.
Right.
So what it looked like afterwards was this. So one cool thing that you can see on the back, there is no custom shop logo on the back of the neck. It was literally just really a parts caster to make for Tom. One other cool thing too is if you see in the third picture on the top, in the middle there, it is so the orange. When he burnt it, the orange did come obviously back through, but underneath the orange, it is like a blue. And it looks kind of like a little like a blue metallic kind of.
Oh, so you think that this guitar body was probably blue first, then painted orange, then vandalized by Tom into this form?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you? I mean, we could probably pull up one on Google real quick. Do you have a clear picture of this thing when it was like in its heyday, orange?
So we do have. This is what it looked like during its heyday before it was. So this is what orange with the Black Invader Fender Subcaster on the headstock. So that's what it looked like before Tom did what he did to it.
Yeah, I mean, as the owner of this guitar, would you be happier if it was like this?
100%. I've debated constantly on putting it back. So this is what the inside of it looks like.
Okay.
So in here you can still see the orange.
Oh wow! Dang! So it's still got all the orange. That's cool. You can color match that.
And I've thought about it quite a bit. If I wanted to do it, the only thing is, is, I mean, I know what obviously it is. It's hard to replicate, but the COAs.
Look at that! You can see where it was blue. Like there was like a
That's-
piece of tape where the bridge is. That is so cool.
Yeah. So the thing is the COAs that came with the reissues was just a letter that says to so and so, blah 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 from Tom. It wasn't anything like the DeLonge's or anything like that. It was a very just generic whatever. So you know, I mean, I know what this is obviously the Subcaster, but putting it back to orange, I don't know what that would do for, you know, if future-wise, if something ever happened, I don't know. But this way, I know that like it's hard to replicate what Tom did to this to the exact.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna.
I mean, you're trying to look at it from a value perspective and like a fan perspective. Are you ruining it by putting it back the way that it quote unquote should be, or you're messing up the artist, which is Tom in this case, his work where he changed it? It's a hard call, man.
That's the dilemma. Yeah.
I do think it's really cool that you still have the color there, so you could like color swatch it and match. And like anyone that wants to replicate this guitar, they could potentially get the exact shade. People have been trying to match it for years. I've seen a lot of Capri orange, and that's just not correct. It's just too bright of an orange. And then Fiesta is too red. But I do feel like if you were going to go with a standard color, you would almost want to go with Fiesta.
It's
if you just
didn't
do a custom.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Fiestas that, because I don't know, and maybe it's just I'm colorblind, I don't know, but I've seen a lot of Fiesta reds that are different shades of red. And
right.
Some of them
faded ones look great. They almost look orange.
Yeah.
I cannot believe there's no writing under the neck pocket, and I don't see any pics of the neck. I assume there's no writing on the neck either.
There is no. It's funny because when I talked to Alex about it, I showed him all these pictures, and he said, without a doubt, this is 100% mine. The wiring that he does is so specific that when he looks at any of the guitars that he's done, I immediately identify if he was the one that did it or somebody else. So,
well, it's good that Tom never changed the pickup or the wiring, and the fact that it doesn't have a Seymour Duncan logo makes you wonder if it's either a prototype pickup or if it's vintage. I mean, that's really cool because you know that Tom wouldn't take the time to rub that off when he never did on any of his other guitars.
No.
It also makes you wonder about the aesthetic of using the black pickup on this one. He also did it on teal green metallic, and it just looks good.
Yeah,
I think it's a great contrast.
I really, I agree. It was just interesting how, you know, when he put the teal, he did switch it to the white afterwards, but he still kept the black for this one. So it's cool. It's still as you know, I know the paint and whatnot that he did afterwards is obviously new, but at least the pickup, everything else hardware wise is still intact and the exact same as when he would have gotten it back in 2000. So
yeah, and we keep forgetting to mention for the guys that like to replicate these guitars that every knob that Alex makes, even the ones for Steve of Newfound Glory, all of Tom's are those heavy knurl chrome knobs. They've got the heavy, I mean, you almost like could hurt your hand if you turned it too fast. Am I right?
Yeah, they're a lot heavier than the ones that came on like the production models or whatever. Yep. But yeah, they're on all of them, and all of Tom's necks that he's used on Fender, anyways, all of the sanded back. So the Subcaster is no exception. As the back is not finished, it's all sanded off. So and yeah, that's the way that he's always wanted.
Bare wood, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's all in all, if it's guitar, I mean, it's regardless of who owned it, it's still a piece of history because it is a one-off, really, having it being a Subcaster. Yeah, if there's any questions that you guys still have on it.
I don't want to catch you on the fly, but can you just give us a minute about the case? Is it, I mean, I assume it has to be a custom case because of this guitar being a custom link?
It is, yeah. So funny enough, the case that came with the yellow from the DeLonge's cell that you once owned, it said orange sub on it. So
yeah, and we'll show that when we do the yellow episode.
Yeah. So that one, I believe, was for the orange one, and the orange one that came with this one was for the yellow. So just by luck, when Tom had his reverb sale, he posted the one that's right behind me here, and it was the one that was for for the yellow, technically the yellow Subsonics. So all in all, I mean, it's
So I mean, we gotta say how cool that is that you were able to reunite the Subcaster with its correct case, because I mean, how many people that would have bought that Subcaster case would have actually made or put a subsonic guitar in there? So the fact that you were able to reunite them, I think that's really rad.
yeah. It's I think if somebody else purchased the case and tried to put their Strat in there, it'd be pretty disappointed because it doesn't.
Yeah, because you tried putting a regular Strat in there, it doesn't fit.
It doesn't fit. So it's made specifically for either the yellow or the orange, because they're both pretty much identical in measurements.
Cool.
So, yeah.
All right, man. If you want to kill this photo, I'll let you take us home.
Yeah. So if there's anything else that you guys have questions on it, any other additional pictures, anything else that you'd want to see, whether it's a certain one of Tom's guitars that you want us to talk about, or even something else that's not Tom at all, I mean, we're more than happy to talk about anything. It's just a lot of the requests that we've been getting have been Tom related. I mean, the name's Gear Windows, so we get it. But if there's anything else you want us to cover, that we have some pretty cool episodes that we have kind of on the back burner that we're thinking of doing. So we'll have some pretty cool content coming out. And again, thank you so much, everybody, for all of the support that you guys have been given the past month. It's been quite amazing. So I both Brian, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Catch you next time, guys. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.